Been another difficult and emotional day in Orlando. President Barack Obama and Vice President Biden were in town to provide some comfort to those impacted by this past weekend's terrorist attack. They met with survivors, first responders, and families who lost loved ones. They were also in Orlando to pay respects on behalf of the entire nation, now scarred with deep emotion over the hatred and that deadly violence.
With so many mass shootings in the U.S., the commander-in-chief has repeatedly become the consoler-in-chief. Paul Mueller is live in Orlando tonight with more on the visit as well as the investigation. Paul?
Good evening. Investigators vow they will leave no stone unturned when it comes to finding a motive. All this 4 nights later, the crime scene, this whole street is blocked off. And as you said, Jen and Keith, the vice president and the president here today listening to these families and the victims, even hugging some of them, saying the president, their grief is indescribable.
President Obama and the vice president came to a city in mourning, standing in solidarity with the survivors and victims' families of the Pulse nightclub massacre that left 49 dead and 53 injured.
Through their pain and through their tears, they told us about the joy that their loved ones had brought to their lives.
You cannot describe that emotional moment.
An emotional time for those family members.
Everybody was together, and the vice president, when he hugged my titi Aida, he said, "You are not alone."
The pain so unbearable. This woman passed out, grieving the loss of her nephew, Frankie Jimmy De Jesus. Also today, investigators say the shooter, Omar Mateen, downloaded terrorist-related material, but still no clear sign of a motive or of plans for another attack. Investigators say Mateen used his cell phone not only to talk with police negotiators, but also texting his wife and posting messages on Facebook during the killing spree. One read, "You kill innocent women and children by doing us airstrikes. Now taste the Islamic State vengeance." Florida Senator Marco Rubio made his way to one of the many memorials that have sprung up throughout the city today, consoling people affected by the massacre. Meantime, the president quoted one doctor saying,
"After the worst of humanity reared its evil head, the best of humanity came roaring back."
Investigators also said today that Mateen actually texted his wife 2 hours after the shooting began. He said that he asked her if she had watched the news. She replied with 3 words, "I love you," and that were the last words they said to each other. Keith?
Paul Mueller live in Orlando. Thank you, Paul. Now, Mateen killed 49 people, as you know by now, in that massacre at the Pulse nightclub. We have the pictures and the vignettes about all of those victims on our website, WFLA.com.